I'm not afraid of him. He just doesn't look like the type to kill somebody.
The internet can be a great tool for people to not only connect, but gain knowledge. And it helps create a sense of community. But sometimes that sense of community is, centered around something that's shitty. And when I say shitty, I mean shitty on the count that there's corpses attached to it. And it's for very shallow reasons that this community has developed around it. And today I'm going to be referring to people who believe that just because someone was attractive, that they couldn't have committed crimes such as kidnapping, murder, rape, necrophilia, vehicular manslaughter, and attempted murder. I have a few examples, the classics of Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer. Ted Bundy had this situation right from his trial. The audio clip at the start of this is someone who went to watch his trial saying that they believe that he couldn't have done this simply because he is conventionally attractive. Which, looking back, everyone knows that's kind of how he did get victims. He would play the being attractive card as well as trying to feign some sort of injury that would require assistance. When they come over to help, he knocks them unconscious and kidnaps them. And then he would rape and murder them, essentially. So, yeah, it's a pretty shit thing, huh? And for Jeffrey Dahmer, he would seduce his victims in a similar way, if not just outrightly attack them. And both of these not only had people infatuated with them while they were on trial, but also to this day in areas like the Tumblr true crime community. And granted, it's not the whole community because, that would be, quite frankly, terrifying. But a decent amount of the community has made horrible content surrounding these two. And things like Valentine's cards that play off of how they would murder their victims or rape them or kidnap them. Stuff like that. Things along the lines of distasteful jokes and sometimes outwardly just disrespecting victims, saying shit like, I wish he'd hit me over the head with a fucking bedpost. Shit like that, basically taking away the trauma from those who were lucky enough to escape these people, because when you hear stories about people who escaped these two serial killers, they're stories of luck, essentially. These people were lucky to get away. Almost always. And it's horrendous, honestly. Now, thankfully, the two examples I've mentioned are dead. Ted Bundy was executed January 24th of 1989, and Jeffrey Dahmer would be beaten to prison by other inmates November 28th, 1994, which is rightfully deserved, honestly. But those two got their justice. They were executed or killed, and quite frankly, I'm glad these people no longer walk among us. But I have two more examples of people who did things. Granted, they're not serial killers, but they've attracted the same audience of people that want them to be forgiven because they're attractive. With I don't know how to say it. Yuka Takako. She attempted to murder her partner because she felt that he was getting cold towards her and distant. And she amassed a following because people took this as an example of an anime trope of a yandere or fucking whatever. This is fucking weird, because this person, they lived, thankfully, but they were fucking gutted, essentially. They got stabbed multiple times. They were in critical condition and were, quite frankly, lucky to be alive on account of the whole... No one... She didn't want to call emergency services. Yeah, she was on the phone. After she was taken into custody, her plan, she was quoted saying, "I did not call emergency services because I intended to die after watching him die from the stabbing." Her plan was essentially a murder-suicide out of her self-proclaimed love for him. And it's terrifying, the audience that attracted. Because not only do people cosplay her, they've made art of her. And once again, it's a situation of disrespectful towards the victims, because holy fuck, imagine you're in critical condition, you've just been stabbed, you are barely hanging on to life. And the only thing you hear about the person that tried to take your life is shit about art and fucking yandere anime shit. You are in the fight for your fucking life. And the only thing people are talking about is, look at this art I made of them sitting in a puddle of your blood. Because when police arrived, she was just sitting in front of his body, covered in his fucking blood. And, yeah, no, it's, oh god. People really just didn't give a shit about the victim, honestly. I mean, of course, there were people that had common sense, and they're like, holy fuck, here's to a fast and healthy recovery. But then there were people who are like, OMG, I'm just like her, so quirky, and I want to fucking perish. And she's in prison, and she's going to be released in 2023 or 2024. And her partner has been quoted saying that he forgives her and asked the judge to give her a lighter sentence, which is absolutely, like, out of left field. Because, like, holy fuck, how forgiving do you have to be to almost be stabbed to death, and then ask the person who's prosecuting on essentially your behalf, as well as the behalf of the public, to give them a lighter sentence. Because, oh, goddamn, that is a lot of forgiveness or naivety. And I don't know which, but you do you, man. But the person that truly inspired me to talk about this and do all this was the most recent example of this, I think. Herrin, who's he's been prosecuted for vehicular manslaughter of 2 victims. Around a 23-year-old, I believe. He ran over a mom and her 21-month child, her baby. He ran over the mother and the baby, going around 102 miles per hour during an illegal street race in Florida in 2018. And there were 2 people in the car. The passenger only getting, I believe, 3-year sentence, but since Cameron was driving the vehicle, and this also was not his first run-in with the law when it came to his driving, he would get a heavier sentence, which could have gone up to 30 years, but it's only at 24. And if you look on TikTok and you go look up like Cameron Herrin, or even on Twitter, shit like that, or even on YouTube, man, I found a few channels dedicated to saying that he should get a second chance because he's just so pretty and shit like that. First of all, I'd like to say, he will get his second chance in 24 years after he served his sentence. And second of all, I'd like to say, do you think he really deserves a second fucking chance? He killed a baby and a mother and the father, husband. He has to live with that, man. He has to live with the knowledge that some spoiled brat killed the two things that possibly gave him the most joy in his life. Because he just wanted to go fast and win a fucking race. And one of the things that was said during the trial to prosecute Cameron was this was a crash, not an accident. And to differentiate those is very important. Because accidental would imply this had no bearing on the driver. He knew it's illegal street racing. There's a reason it's illegal. To keep the driver and pedestrians in the area safe, as well as other drivers. But, I guess he didn't care about that. No. He didn't give a fucking shit. He ran over those 2, going over 100. In I believe a 2018 Mustang. And quite frankly, I believe that he's lucky to not have been prosecuted to the full 30 years. And people are saying that he's going to lose his teen years over this. He isn't. He's 20. He's 21, I believe. His 10 years are done. Yes, the crash happened when he was a teen. But guess what? He was at the tail end of his teen years. He only had fucking like a year and a half left at most. His years were done at that point already. So that argument can go fuck itself. And the people who make it need to gain some perspective. Because holy shit, are you trying to appeal to the humanity of a person who has lost, who's witnessed the death of their two people that they love and hold very close to their heart. Because that's so fucked up. People saying that he deserves a second chance are blatantly wrong. Because he just fucking doesn't. He'll get his second chance in 24 years. And no one is too pretty for prison. People should have known this from the 70s, from fucking Ted Bundy. People should still know this. It's 2021. I don't know how this is still a debate that has to happen. That, hey, just because he looks kind of attractive doesn't mean it's okay for him to run over a baby and a mother. It's kind of fucked up. I'm not going to lie to you. But, yeah, I heard about the Cameron Herrin and the community surrounding him, and it immediately just popped into my mind of many more examples of this, but I don't want to go further into that rabbit hole. Because just doing, like, the bare minimum of research for these 4 people has been depressing. It has taken so much energy out of me. Just looking at these examples of people who did horrible things and were basically congratulated for it by the internet. It is so draining to look at. In fact, looking back at Yuka Takaoka, or how you say it, one of the news stations that reported on it was the Tokyo Reporter, and that has a comment section under the story. And if you just scroll down, you'll see comments from like a week ago, from a few weeks ago at most, and they'll be saying things like, oh my god, she's so crazy, she's so hot, I love it, I love her. And it's so horrible. Like, you'd think you get over this stuff when you are able to get online on the internet, or have any sense of morality, but why do we have faith in humanity? Like, this is a prime example of people not caring about their fellow person and indulging in some sick fantasy of, like, twisted love, and I hate it so much. And anyone with half a brain hates it. But yeah, no, final notes: no one's too pretty for prison, and if there's a body count, they deserve jail time. Goodbye.